We got all these different coaches who are gonna be coming up. Adam Schefter said on Pat McAfee that he expects no less than 7 coaches to be fired. It might even go as high as 9 be fired, man. But my question here, we've been talking about this, I think, in the chat all week. Are you hell bent on having a specialist, an offensive specialist, be the head coach, or should it be more of a culture builder? I know it's doesn't look that way now because everybody loves him. And it's Dan Campbell. People forget Dan Campbell was laughed at when he had his presser when he was introduced by the Detroit Lions. Oh, Lions being the Lions again. Who's this guy? He's a meathead. He's gonna be fired in a year or two as well. And now we look at him as one of the best coaches in football. What is he? He is not an X's and O's guy. He is a culture builder. Even though this is in college football, Deion Sanders, culture builder. Mike Vrabel, culture builder. I think when it comes to specialists and culture building, I think both can work. I think for me, why I've been on the I want to give an offensive guy a try is because of the Caleb Williams development. With a culture guy, to me, you got to hope that culture guy gets the right offensive coordinator, especially when you got somebody like a Caleb Williams who is going to be going in his second year and probably entering into a new system. So you want to keep things as simple as possible for you. I think that if he was a vet already, I would 100% be down with that. Now, you can sell me on this combo that got floated out there this week. That'll be Mike Vrabel, head coach, Brian Daboll as offensive coordinator. You can 100% sell me on that.
Well, who said that?
Well, these are just names being floated out. They had a couple of
Oh,
like,
boy.
this is not like a legitimate, report. No, it's not an actual report. I think it was on Waddle and Stillby. They were floating stuff out. So I'm just,
you can float that shit somewhere else. We ain't paying none of them niggas. We gonna pay the same amount of money we would pay both of them to do those jobs. That'll be the whole coaching staff's. That'll be the whole coaching staff salary. Mike Vrabel and Daboll. Boy, we ain't them.
I'm just telling you what people talk about, man. I ain't say it's gonna happen. I said could somebody sell me on hey, would you like to spend the night with Rihanna? Of course I would. You can sell me on there. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, boy,
that's what I would like.
They think this Madden.
Yeah,
it's Madden.
You know what I'm saying? I just say go get Sean McVay, nigga. Like I know, this is just stuff. I saw somebody say we should trade for Sean McVay, trade for Cal Shanahan. Like I don't come on now. I'm not giving. You already have a talent problem on the offensive line. You're not gonna give up more picks. But my whole thing is I just want them to hire the right person. I really don't matter if it's a specialist or a culture builder. But I think for a team that makes as many mistakes as this organization make it simple for them and just get the offensive guy. Bang, doesn't matter to you for the next head coach if it's a specialist or a culture builder.
No, it just matters you know how to do the goddamn job. Because even if you are an offensive-minded coach that get this job, you got to get the defensive coordinator hired right. Like that you still got to do that right. Like you can't just hire an offensive-minded coach and then be like, oh, sure, let's go hire Joseph Lewis as the defensive coordinator. I think we're gonna do a good job. Like, no, you still got to go out there and hire the right person for that side of the ball. And the last thing you want to do is hire somebody and the best side of the team becomes the worst, especially when you have a number of Pro Bowl or Pro Bowl potential players on that side. No, I need somebody who's going to come in, have a plan for Caleb, have a plan for this team. And it doesn't matter if it's a defensive coordinator. I've seen a lot of people say Brian Flores might or could be a good situation for the Bears. He'll come cheap too.
Not getting a job.
I know. I'm just shit. I'm just like how you said about Vrabel and Daboll. Like just like you said, I feel you. I'm just saying what the other people said. But we've seen all of these pie in the sky shits and all of this stuff. I just think it's a situation where we're going to strike out on a lot of these names, but just like with Lovie Smith was the third option out of this, and he ended up being the best person for this team.
Do we remember who the other 2 options were in 2004?
If I can remember correctly, and Hood, if you still up in here, please let me know if this was it. But wasn't Dave McGinnis supposed to be, or was Dave McGinnis supposed to be the hire, and they hired Dick Geron? I think that may have been the Dave McGinnis thing. But if I can remember, like um Lovie Smith was third on the list. He was the third option, and he ended up being the best option for the Bears. But he couldn't get the offensive coordinator situation right either. So you just gotta hire the right person that's gonna have a great plan and bring in the people, and people have to buy in. They want to come. See, that's the one thing about hiring a coach that you have to be ready for too. If you get the right coach, that there has to be other coaches that's like, yeah, I want to coach with him. I want to build this program with him. That's what I'm more worried about.
Dante, does it matter to you the next Bears head coach, specialist or coach or builder?
No, it don't matter. You got to be a fucking competent coach. And to Bang's point about picking coordinators, also we can't get caught up in names. Like did Lovey pick terrible coordinators? Yes, but I mean Lovey. We also saw him pick some big name, coordinators. He picked up Mike Marsh. We just didn't have the personnel to run what Mike Marsh needed to run. The talent we did have, like Greg Olson, he got rid of it. But you had Mike Marsh. You had remember everybody was hyping Adam Gase. So it's not like we haven't tried to go get the hot name or giving people that are the hot candidate a chance. It's just for some reason, usually somebody up top who is people believe don't really run shit, who I think is the main puppet master, putting their hands.
Just say my name, nigga.
they putting their fucking fingers where it don't belong, and this is the result that we get. But I still think at the end of the day, you need somebody who is just a leader of men. And I mean, I think, whether it's a specialist or a coach or builder, you've seen coaches across the league who may fit either of those titles, but they lead the team. Like Sirianni, he's just a head coach, but he's picked some good coordinators and he's been able to, get his team to rally around him. Same with Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn picks amazing coordinators. Like that's one of his specialties. If you go look back at that 2018 offensive staff from the Atlanta Falcons. No, not 2018. What year did they go to the Super Bowl? Was that 2016? Go back and look at that staff, bro. It's LaFleur, it's Kyle, it's like half of it's like 4 or 5 head coaches that were on that staff. Raheem Morris is on that staff. You feel me? Like it's a lot of talent on their staff that went on to be head coaches. So they do a great job. He does a great job. So if the Bears can get somebody like that, I'm cool with it. So I'm really more concerned with just getting the hire right, bro. Like we've spent so much time hyping people, going off, well, this guy's supposed to be this and he did that. That's why even with the Ben Johnson thing, given our history with first-time head coaches, I wouldn't be opposed to them
we'd be the
going and getting somebody. Yeah, we'd be the one to fuck it up. So like I wouldn't be against going to get somebody who has coaching experience and we've seen build something before, as opposed to trying to go be the ones to pick the new guy. Because what we've seen over the years is the Bears are not good at picking shit like that. We just not. So go with somebody with a proven track record and go.
The last time, and I'm getting in my OG bag, so fuck you, Orlando. When the Bears fired Mike Ditka, the guy that everybody wanted was Dave Wanstead. He was the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. They had
I thought he was the offensive coordinator, wasn't he?
No, he was the defensive coordinator.
Who was the offensive coordinator in
North Turner, I believe.
North Turner was offensive coordinator. That's right.
But Dave Wanstead was the hot young hire, and he ended up getting there. And they had success in the beginning, but it trailed off. And then you went into that situation where you was trying to replace him with some of those people, and they just wasn't coming. We had talked about the Dave McGinnis thing there. Like the good thing about Ben Johnson is like I had said a couple of weeks ago, you go get Ben Johnson. Do you cripple? Do you hurt the Detroit Lions? Because one thing, don't get me wrong, I know this is weird because what I be saying about Detroit, but I have become a fan. I've become a fan of the Detroit Lions coaching staff, right?
Okay.
I like the hype that Aaron Glenn brings, and I like how smart it seems like Ben Johnson has in grooming and growing Jared Goff when he was basically thrown to the scrap heap by Sean McVay, right? Ben Johnson gets him a job, and Aaron Glenn seems like to have the damn New Orleans Saints job on lock. Who replaces those people for the CEO coach, right? Like who is next up if Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn does leave, and do those people want to go with them to New Orleans and insert team here for Ben Johnson respectfully. So that's another thing that you want to think about as well, is who comes, and depending on who you hire, if it's somebody that's in division, how much do you hurt that team by basically poaching their staff?
So cool. Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not